thought it was so important to put so much music in the show. I love it, but it's a rare thing to see in a network show that isn't a musical.
Yeah, listen,
you love it, right? It's not a bad thing. Okay, because it's awesome. So, you know.
No, I think one of our favorite things about Riverdale is that it is kind of it is a show that it's a mystery. It's a coming of age show. It's a family drama. It's a secret and lies story. It's a musical. It's a gothic story. So that was always from the very first time we were talking about music's always been a huge part of the Archies band, Sugar Sugar, Josie and the Pussycats. So it was always going to be an element, and it was never going to be a full-on musical like Glee or Empire and stuff, but it's nice when we hear a song kind of. So from the very beginning, it was going to have that element, if not be a musical, but have that element.
And crazy music, like everything from Sugar Sugar to Neil Young.
And Kids in America.
Kids
in America.
Exactly.
Nice little Clueless.
And part of that is, so how do you, I mean, obviously there's a practicality of licensing rights and whatever, but trust me, you give David Lee Roth a walk-on part, he'll totally sing it. But how do you guys choose some of that music? And what, have there been cases where you just couldn't get the rights to something?
No, I don't. No, I mean, we knew we were going to do.
Neil Young does not.
We knew we were going to do Sugar Sugar, and then we have a terrific music team, a terrific music supervisor, and no, I mean, so far we've been really lucky.
Yeah, I can't think of one.
Yeah.
Ah, that's great.
I'm sure that will happen.
Yeah, sure.
Other questions? There's a lady here in, I think, third row.
See how that happened?
Wow.
But now what are you going to do with it?
Camila, what is something you want to explore about your character this coming season that you didn't get to do last season?
I'm most curious about her relationship with her father. And I've talked a lot with
everybody's
Roberto
most curious
about
about
this. Yeah. And I just want to see kind of how she changes when he arrives. Like, is she going to turn into Daddy's little girl?
Yes.
And yes, the answer is yes. And I think
No spoilers.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything.
But you know what? I mean, it feels like at the beginning you were Daddy's little girl. At the beginning of the season, it feels like you have evolved out of that, especially when you were asked to give the declaration and what have you. So,
of course,
you know that character.
But towards the end, she was not Daddy's little girl.
You know, she's Ivanka Trump of Riverdale. It's hard to let go of
Wow.
It was such a lovely time.
You know, she had the crowd in the palm of her hand there, and you just snatched it away, Sarah.
Our fearless leader.
Wow. I so know how she keeps you guys in line now.
Oh my gosh. Anyway.
Other questions we have? Yeah, there's a lady here in the second row. There's two ladies. You're side by side, so you both get to ask.
Come on, John. Give me the microphone.
Yeah, stand. All right. My question's for Sarah, regardless of how often I look at KJ.
Can I just say, before you ask a question, inside thoughts, outside thoughts. Remember that,
Okay. We're on check. What advice would you give for women who, or best advice you've ever received, women who are interested in careers behind the camera opposed to front of the camera?
Great. Do it.
That's a great question.
doing it.
Great
And
question.
Do it.
Machen is director as well. And,
Yeah.
but no, I think you have to keep doing it, and I think that is just to work really hard and not let your ego get in the way, because women have it much harder, but we get the last laugh if we just work hard and are kind to people and are passionate about stuff. I mean, I tried to, John and Roberto know, I tried to do Riverdale as a movie before as a show. It's like, all you can do is just chase the stuff you're passionate about and believe in it and find people that you believe in.
And support other women. Team Berlanti, CW, Warner Brothers, there's a huge commitment to that. Half of our directors next year are going to, at least half are going to be women.
Which is what
same in the writers' room. It's more gals than guys in there.
And I'm so glad that you asked me to direct one episode.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, imagine, I mean, for you, this is.
Actually,
auditioned myself.
But to take Sarah's point, like, you got to put your hand up if you want to get asked, right? And I think that's important.
And I think we're going to come to Machen for a CW Seed extra kind of movie of Jughead and Hot Dog on just adventures, the two of them. Spoilers. You don't mind directing animals, right?
I'll capture it so well. So well. It'll be slow-mo, sexy shots of hot dog and
Oh my God, please, Tom, can we do
Building a chicken coop together.
building a chicken coop together.
Hot dog coop.
No, but it's you know, I've been in the business 30 years and wanted to direct from the beginning and just sort of felt, I guess I made a lot of excuses of like, well, I'm just too busy acting, or, you know, it's going to take so long to step behind the camera, or how do I go about doing it, and kind of kept almost expecting somebody to sort of help me do it, and I finally just did it. And then that's what started the momentum, you know, and I'm continuing to do it now. But it's just kind of like having the guts and stepping out and just doing it. Even if it's, I just did a music video on an iPhone with an anamorphic lens and a film, you know, app to put it together and spend a lot of time editing it. And so it's, even if it's just that, write your own stuff, shoot your own stuff. Don't be afraid to pitch it and put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Woo. Now, this lady also had a question. We're just going to stick in the third row now. Third row gets all the questions.
We're the best row. It's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. As a Latina and a woman of color, I wanted to ask Marisol how important, and Camilla, of course, how important representation is to you on television and movie screens.
It's changed so much. It's so amazing. I've been in the business also for 20-something years. And when I first started, I wouldn't get tan. I would make sure I wasn't tan because I knew I wouldn't work, basically.
Wow.
There were no roles.
You're tan? What are you
And I've seen it change completely to where you've got an iconic character like Veronica, and it's like, well, let's make her Latina. And let's not put a button on it either.
And
it's amazing.
The very first meeting we had, and I know it's like all
my
I'm
God,
doing is talking
do
about
not,
Greg.
do not.
But
This
the very
was
first
Greg.
meeting he said, he was like,
Roberto, you're the one who said you're not very good with the no spoilers, right?
Yeah.
Right?
At least one person in that love triangle is going to be diverse,
great.
because that's the world we live in, and that's how it was. And very first meeting, and CW same thing, and John same thing.
Well, also, John, I have to give major props to John because we work with a lot of underlying material in a lot of the things that we do, and it's very hard sometimes for people to allow their baby to be in a different medium and to change and to evolve. And I have to say that the support that we've had from John, who literally grew up with these characters because his dad he was like in Archie's shadow his whole life, and he has been so supportive and so excited about this in a way that has allowed, like, we couldn't have done anything if John didn't have the vision to say, like, these characters can't stay exactly the same.
And also, I think, but to Marisol's point, you know, I think part of what's also important about that, and I think that's the same thing. It's like you don't have to put a button on it or a spotlight. It says, "Oh, we have a Latino family here. Look at that! Isn't that nice?" And you know, I think that's a very important part of it. And at the same time, I think some of the issues that come up that your character has brought up in the show about race are actually people having a real discussion about it, not sort of saying like, "Oh, I need to wave this flag now. Why? Because this is Act 2 and that's where we do this." This is a real thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a conversation that I have often. You know, things are so tense and it's a difficult conversation to have as it is. And a lot of people have so many emotions and feelings behind it. And it tends to be approached with a lot of aggression. And there isn't a lot of listening. So it's really smart to be able to articulate where you're coming from so that the person who may have a different viewpoint is able to receive it and possibly process it, and you guys can move on together from there. So it's something that people talk about, you know.
One of my favorite exchanges in the whole season is when we reveal the kill. Oh no, never mind. No, is when you talk to Archie about his like assumption that he should be able to perform.
Yeah, and it's easy for people to just blanket that as, oh, it's the black character that the network casts and she's going to talk about black problems. And it's so much more than that. It has to do with equality even just among sexes. It has to do with people feeling like they can come into something with no notion or no drive at all and ask someone who actually does love it, can you help me do this thing because I really like it and I think I should. That's all.
I mean, I would say that if any group is treated unfairly on this show, You know where I'm going.
Who?
It is natural redheads.
We had tons of in the pilot. There were tons of
I had to monitor.
And Sarah was like, "Listen, there are 11 ginger jokes in this pilot.
I was like,
it's just not right. It's just not right." And it's like, as a natural redhead, no one uses that word. I was like, okay, no, yeah. So absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah.
Ginger strong.
Yeah. We gotta stick together.
You get teased about it now?
Ginger struggle.
Nah, you're fine. You're fine. Other questions that aren't going to be from the third row. There's a hand in the back there.
Very back.
Way at the back.
I see you.
There's two.
Way back there.
And then Superman has a question too.
Yeah, the guy in the blue shirt. Yeah.
Hi, my question is for Cole. Is there a character besides Jughead that you identify with more personally than your own?
That is a good question.
Yeah, probably Fred. Just a father of one who's trying to make it in the world, trying to keep his job afloat while simultaneously trying to keep his son grounded.
I thought you were going to say Miss Grundy.
Yeah. I think the danger and sort of the beauty of father-son representation is that I really feel like I identify with Skeet's character. I feel like I identify with FP, and that's because as the sort of season has gone on, the way we've been explaining tragedy and justification for wrongdoing is coming from a place that's real and struggling, and so Jughead is coming from this sort of economically depraved place where he and his family have been going through hardships, and so the choices that ultimately FP makes are ones that are grounded in sort of a justification for Jughead's lifestyle, a psychology that comes from things that Jughead could probably understand as well. So I think, probably FP.
What he's not admitting is that I find Cole dressing in Alice Cooper clothes all the time. It's okay.
What I'm not admitting is that I know that you're there.
Oh, it's about
Well
that
done.
hour.
Good job.
Well done.
It's about
It's getting late.
That was great.
It's getting really hot up here.
The gentleman is wearing a Superman T-shirt, which is technically on the CW in some form or fashion.
He wants it pretty bad, so let's give it to him. There you go.
It's my S shirt, just like what Jughead wears.
Yeah.
Just a little bit different way. This question
Is your question for Cole?
No, it's actually for Camille and to a lesser extent Casey. Riverdale is a bit of like a insane town, like generations-long blood feud around the maple syrup business, weird town. And you two seem to have the most outsider approach to those scenes. I was wondering how you decided how much you'd buy into the rules of the town, how much you'd buy into their own drama.
Honestly, I think Veronica's a little shook.
I feel like you guys are like the common sense, like this.
Yeah, we're
town is
always
so
calling people
strange.
out for the weird things that they do in Riverdale. But then again, they get sucked into it time and time again. And Veronica, especially in the last 3 episodes, I feel like gets sucked into it. No offense, Kevin.
None taken.
And yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
No, there was a complete sentence.
There was a complete sentence in there somewhere.
Sonny, I'm
Right?
with you.
What about maple syrup drama is not realistic?
What are you trying to say?
Excuse me, there actually is a maple syrup mafia
For
in Canada.
sure.
What?
Yeah.
I tweeted about it. There's a
Vice just did a big story about it. Yeah.
It's the But I will tell you that for the past year and a half, whenever Roberto, who's you're so good, like telling stories, so dramatic, but he'll be like,